In Vietnam, food is everywhere. On sidewalks, in alleys, outside homes. A woman grills bánh mì just 3 feet from motorbikes rushing past. An elderly man serves pho from a cart that barely fits 2 plastic stools. Someone's grandmother ladles bún bò Huế from her doorstep, while traffic honks behind her customers. To visitors, it feels chaotic, unplanned, almost impossible to manage. So how does this actually work? I'm John, Vietnamese American living here full-time. And this confused me too when I first moved back. Most countries try to control food, zoning laws, health permits, restaurant licenses. Vietnam looks like it skipped all of this. Street vendors cook on tiny grills. They wash dishes in buckets. They serve customers sitting on plastic stools that cost less than a single restaurant chair. From the outside, street food looks informal, temporary, almost accidental, like someone just decided to start cooking on the sidewalk, and somehow it worked. But watch more carefully. That bún cha vendor, she's been in the same spot for 15 years. Same time, every morning. Same narrow menu. Same regular customers who know exactly when she opens. The man selling bánh cuốn, his father sold from that corner before him. The recipe hasn't changed. The location hasn't changed. Even the plastic tables are arranged the same way. The woman making che every afternoon at 3 p.m., she appears like clockwork. Her customers don't even need to check the time. They know she'll be there. To locals, it's not chaos. It's a system built on patterns most visitors never notice. Rhythms that have developed over decades. Unwritten rules that everyone understands, but no one had to teach. But it didn't ignore the rules. The rules are just different, and that distinction changes everything. But how does a system like this actually function? Vietnamese cities are dense, really dense. In Ho Chi Minh City, you might have 8 families living in a space that would house 2 families in most other countries. Homes are narrow, sometimes just 12 feet wide. Kitchens are tiny. Dining rooms barely exist. Compare this to cities like Tokyo or New York, which handle density by building up. Massive apartment complexes with shared amenities. Or Singapore, which controls street food through regulated hawker centers. Vietnam chose a different path. When private space is limited, public space becomes more valuable, more flexible, more essential. In Vietnam, sidewalks are not just for walking. They are flexible space, shared space, space that transforms throughout the day. 5 a.m. The sidewalk is empty, waiting. 6 a.m. Pho vendors claim their spots, steam rising from massive pots. 10 a.m. The breakfast crowd clears. Space opens up. 11 a.m. Bánh mì carts roll in for the lunch rush. 3 p.m. Che sellers set up dessert stations with colorful, sweet soups. 6 p.m. Bánh xèo grills appear, plastic stools arranged in perfect rows. 10 p.m. Late-night hủ tiếu vendors take over for the final shift. Selling food outside isn't breaking the city. It's using it efficiently. The density that creates the problem also creates the solution. But space alone doesn't explain why this scales without collapsing. There's an economic logic here that most people miss. Opening a restaurant is expensive anywhere. Rent, equipment, staff, permits. The costs add up before you serve a single customer. Street food lowers the risk dramatically. You don't need rent for a dining room. You don't need industrial equipment. You don't need to hire servers or dishwashers. You don't need to commit to feeding hundreds of people every day just to break even. A bánh mì cart might cost less than 1 month's rent for a small restaurant. A pho setup, pot, bowls, ingredients, stools, might cost what a restaurant spends on a single piece of commercial equipment. That's why so many people can do it. The barrier to entry is low enough that families can start with savings instead of loans. Low enough that if it doesn't work, you haven't lost everything. In Vietnam, street food isn't just cheaper to buy, it's cheaper to start. But here's what visitors miss. Vietnamese street vendors don't sell everything. They sell one thing, maybe 2. The pho lady sells pho. Not bún bò, not bánh mì, just pho. The bánh cuốn man makes bánh cuốn. He's been perfecting the same thin rice crepes for 20 years. He knows exactly how much filling to add, exactly how to steam them, exactly when they're ready. The gum-dum vendor focuses solely on broken rice dishes. She knows her pork needs exactly 12 minutes on the grill. She knows which customers want extra pickled vegetables. She knows how to portion everything so nothing gets wasted. This isn't limitation, it's specialization. When you only make one dish, you get really good at it. You know your costs exactly. You know how much to buy, how much to prepare, how long everything takes. You can work faster, waste less, serve better food. And something else happens. You find your rhythm. Each vendor fits into a larger rhythm. Same hours, every day. Same location. Same customers who know exactly where to find them. What looks unregulated is actually self-regulating. But it didn't ignore the rules. The rules are just different. But there's still something deeper that holds this all together. In a restaurant, you trust the health inspector, the business license, the corporate brand. On Vietnamese streets, you trust something different. Reputation. Mrs. Lin has been making bún riêu on this corner for 12 years. Everyone in the neighborhood knows her. They know her ingredients are fresh because they see her buying them at the market every morning. They know her cooking is clean because they've been eating it for years. If her food made people sick, word would spread in hours. Not through online reviews that might get buried, but through immediate conversation. Neighbor to neighbor, customer to customer. If she started cutting corners, customers would notice immediately. If she caused problems, blocked too much sidewalk, made too much noise, left too much mess, neighbors would complain directly. Trust replaces paperwork. This creates something restaurants can't replicate. Accountability that's immediate and personal. Mrs. Lin doesn't just serve food to customers. She serves food to her community, people who live nearby, who know her story, who will remember if something goes wrong. And when challenges come, economic downturns, supply shortages, seasonal changes, vendors adapt together. The pho vendor might share suppliers with the bánh mì cart. The evening bún bò seller might recommend customers to the morning gom dum lady when she runs out early. They're not just competing, they're creating an ecosystem. Most cities try to control food through centralization. Big restaurants, clear regulations, official systems that everyone must follow. Vietnam does the opposite. It doesn't rely on one big system. It relies on thousands of small ones. Each vendor is their own small business. Each neighborhood develops its own food ecosystem. Each street finds its own balance between vendors and space and customers. When one vendor fails, it doesn't bring down the system. When demand changes, vendors adapt instantly. When costs rise, they adjust immediately. Street food works because it spreads risk, lowers cost, and adapts constantly. It's not disorder, it's distributed order. The chaos you see isn't the absence of a system. It's a different kind of system, one that's flexible instead of rigid, personal instead of institutional, immediate instead of bureaucratic. Vietnam figured out how to feed millions of people without building millions of restaurants. How to create jobs without requiring massive capital. How to maintain quality without formal oversight. The street food isn't everywhere, despite the system. It's everywhere because of the system. Once you see the pattern, the food everywhere stops feeling chaotic. The pho vendor who appears at the same corner every morning. The bánh mì cart that knows exactly when office workers take lunch. The evening bún bò huế setup that quietly turns a street into a gathering place. It all feels intentional, familiar, normal. That's just how Vietnam feeds itself. And once you understand how food works outside here, you start noticing something else. How many kitchens stay quiet. Up next, why Vietnamese don't cook at home as much as you think.